I'd like to call the meeting to order. Wait for me. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. This is doesn't happen often where we have a room full of people come out and talk about the things that affect our county. So thank you all for coming out, taking the time to do that. If you would please stand for our invocation of pledge. I'll ask Todd if he would lead us.
Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, it's the end of another day that we bow our heads. Thank you, dear God, for letting us see the light of this day. If it's thy will, dear God, let us see the light of another. God, we ask that you would be with all the people in convalescent homes, hospitals, at home, wherever sickness may be. Lord, touch their bodies, Lord, and let them be healed with thy will. Go with us through this meeting. Be with us, lead and guide and direct us. We humbly pray in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item is reading and approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
Make a motion that the minutes be approved as written. Second.
Have a move and second to approve last month's meeting. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carried. It's not opposition. The next item is old business. We have no old business. The fourth item is rezone request. So I want to call to make notice that we are have an official hearing on this rezone request. I'd like to ask Board Member Alberto what the county's recommendation is.
My name is Alberto Torres. I'm the Director of Planning and Development for the county. I'm going to be reading basically the rezoning request. William Cochran and Brian Chastain submitted an application to rezone 135.99 acres of property located on Carlan Road, Jasper, Georgia. The current use listed for this property is suburban residential, and Mr. Cochran and Mr. Chastain would like to rezone the property to agricultural. If approved, the intent use is for the purpose of construction of a poultry production houses and pasture. The property would be divided in half and construct 6 42 feet by 600 feet chicken houses on each parcel, and also for a residential structure to be on one of the parcels. The building would start by June 2015 and be completed within 2 years. The property located north and east of the proposed site is agricultural and rural residential. And this property is, the properties located south and east is rural residential. The recommendations of my staff, we recommend that the application for rezoning of the text map 057-011 be approved. Thank you.
Is Mr. Cochran or Chastain here? Is there anything y'all would like to state or add?
Not at the moment. I mean, if we can address concerns that the resident speaks, we can address any of that. We'll speak later.
Okay. So you have nothing to add at this moment? All right, we've got several people that signed up that would like to comment. If I may, I would like to see a show of hands of all those that are supporting the rezone request. Okay, so I assume everyone else, kind of just for the record, all those that oppose, please raise your hand. Okay. I would like to ask, now, all of y'all are more than welcome to speak. Each one of you would have 3 minutes, and we've got probably 20 to 25 people that signed up. I'm willing to, like, y'all are more than welcome to speak, but if y'all would like to kind of caucus together, meet together, and have 1 or 2 or 3 people speak on your behalf as a group, or, you know, if some of y'all want to do that, that's fine, and if some of those that want to speak, y'all are more than welcome to do that as well, but just for the sake that we're not here for an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. Just want to throw that out at y'all.
May I suggest that after a couple of people speak, if their concerns have been addressed, then the others may not need to speak.
I'll leave that, I mean, that's fine, that's perfectly reasonable, I just want to throw that offer up to the public. So, if y'all would like to do that, all those in favor of allowing first, say, 3 people to speak, and then go from there.
I think a lot of
So
people,
let them all speak.
I think a lot
That's
of people.
fine, I'm just throwing that offer up to you.
We don't mind being here an hour and a half.
That's fine, we don't need it, we've been here longer than that. But I'm just throwing it out there. Okay, the first person that signed up is Miss Carlan Jett.
J-E-T-T.
Yes, Jett.
The Jerusalem.
Ma'am, okay, you've got 3 minutes and okay, go.
The Jerusalem community of Pickens County is a family-friendly, caring community which welcomes new residents and also cares for the quality of life of their neighbors. I have found this to be a group of people who always come together to help each other in times of need. The proposal being made now at this hearing offers nothing of benefit to our community. It will not only be an eyesore to look at daily, but will contaminate the air, soil, and water resources of our area. If you doubt this fact, I suggest you familiarize yourself with the Pew Commission report of 2008. The findings were that even if you did not consume this product, which consists of antibiotics, concentrated manure, the unnatural grain-fed diets, and the stressful living conditions of these animals, they produce microbes which attach themselves to the soil, water, farmers, and their families, and contaminate the community. These microbes are almost impossible to eradicate. In turn, these microbes reduce the effectiveness of the antibiotics humans use to manage illnesses. If the proposal is approved, it will decrease our property values as well as air quality, water, and soil resources. It limits how we are able to use our own property because no matter how diligent the houses are maintained, there is a stench surrounding them, especially when emptying them or caking them. Most families in our community have livestock such as horses or cattle. How will their watering sources be affected? Also, I asked 2 questions. Would you want this in your area and in your neighborhood? Also, is this the vision you have for West Pickens County? If so, I need to be more inquisitive the next time election comes around.
I'll let Mr. Cochran or Chastain, if they'd like to respond to that one.
I think she's pretty much against the whole poultry industry,
I am.
from what I understood. And somebody's mind's that made up, there's no sense in arguing with it. She's,
I'm not against chickens, I'm against that.
Ma'am, we're not going back and forth, okay?
Okay, excuse me.
there's no rebuttal. She is against poultry industry, excuse me. Not all poultry, I'm sure she likes chicken.
What I'm looking at is there's 6 houses currently on Carlan Road that went out of business recently. I don't ever see it coming back. There's also was 6 houses on Henderson Mountain Road, which is just on the other side of White Pine crossover. I know 3 houses has went away. There may be 3 still in operation. So with this, pretty much those houses have been in operation since '87. I know on the back side of the property on Stewart Road, there's 3 houses at the entrance there. I know 2 of those houses have been in operation since the early '80s, mid-'80s. There was 2 houses next to it that got blew away by the tornadoes in '94, which was in operation up until that point. So what we're looking at is in our area, we're just going to replace farms that's already lived their lifespan going out. As far as truck traffic, there's already truck traffic, chicken house traffic there that's recently went away. So as far as effect on the community and effect on the roads, I'm not going to see any change, really. I mean, we're just filling in the void of where those houses that's lived their lifespan and went out gone now. We're looking at leaving a buffer of what trees around the property when we build the land, so you really won't see it. They're newer houses, so you really don't get that much smell from the newer houses that you get. Really, when you smell chicken manure and litter is when people spread it on their pasture. And, you know, we're not going to be spreading it, we're going to be selling it, most of it will go out of state.
Thank you. Mr. and Ms. Sandy Barnes.
The only thing I'd like to address is just a comment. Marshall Bagwell's property is under foreclosure, and if those were to be purchased and brought back to life, then you're adding your 6 to what he has there now. It's possible someone could purchase those and start operation again there, so you're just adding to, detrimental to our property value, and Sue basically covered most of our questions.
Well, 3 of the houses at Marshall's, I've been told by Pilgrim, they wouldn't renovate because their age and what all would have to be repaired is above if they would be cheaper tire than they would now. 2 of the houses down close to the road, they said were capable of being renovated, but that'd be, you know, completely up to everybody.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Melissa Gillette.
I live at 22 Chimney Way. I'm about half a mile from the proposed site. I spent several hours researching the effects and impacts of living next to a chicken farm. And it's funny because I couldn't find one positive. What I did goes beyond upsetting me, goes beyond angering me. It scares me. I'm going to say just a few things that I found. Salmonellosis, campylobacteriosis, chlamydiosis, tuberculosis, Newcastle disease. These are 5 diseases I just named, are 5 common diseases that are known to be transmitted from chickens to humans. What is really scary is they can be transmitted through dust particles in the air. Dust particles, which is composed of feathers, dander, microorganisms that rise and blow where the winds will take them when cleaning out the chicken houses and storing the manure for sale. People can and do breathe these particles in, and they contract these diseases. To go along with these diseases is ammonia. Ammonia at such high rates it has been found to cause bronchitis and asthma, especially in children. Children take in 20 to 50% more air than adults, so they are affected more. The odor of ammonia can travel up to 7 miles on a windy day. 7 miles. Hill City Elementary School is approximately 5 miles away by car, less as the crow flies from the proposed land. 500 plus children can be subjected to the negative effects. What's more is to go with the ammonia the children will be breathing in is H2S, or hydrogen sulfide, CO2, carbon dioxide, CH4, methane. That's a lot of things to be breathing in. These farms are also known to release high and toxic amounts of nitrogen, phosphorus, organic matter, sediments, pathogens, heavy metals, hormones into the groundwater and the surrounding areas. In 2003, residents of Prairie Grove, Arkansas filed suit against local poultry producers, citing a connection between the community's high cancer rate and arsenic contamination from the chicken litter. The cancer rate was 50 times higher than the national average. They were successful. You, as officials, are supposed to represent us, the people. Well, here we are, asking you to represent us, asking you to not destroy our quality of life, asking you to keep our children safe and healthy, asking you to put them before business. What are you going to do?
like to respond? You have a minute and a half to respond.
I kind of feel the same way with Mr. Gillette as I do with this jet. They pretty well are against the poultry industry altogether, and all what we're gonna say is gonna change their mind.
And then again, I mean, the houses that's already there that we talked about earlier was there way before Chimney Ridge. I mean, if that was that big of a concern, and it wasn't a concern when they bought the property where they live at now. The houses that I'm proposing putting in is probably 1,000 feet from 6 other houses that's already there. You know, that's recently went out of business. I mean, if it wasn't an issue then, why was the issue now?
Mr. Charles Gillette. Good evening. I'm in a rock and a hard spot. I know him, and they're good friends. And I have issues. I've got an 8-year-old daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I live at 22 Chimney Way. I've got some concerns on traffic. I'm not anti-poetry, not at all. I understand, we came out of the Stone Age, we live in Pickens County, but I bought this place about 8 years ago. Yes, there are chicken farms there. They're all over the place. I get it, and I can tell you when they clean them. Am I getting this right? You're putting a total, how many chicken houses? Total, not, I realize it's both you guys together, and I worked with Brian for a long time, but there's going to be a total of 12, is that correct?
Please.
Yeah.
There's a total of 12 here. And how many birds per?
36,000 per.
36 times 12. God, I'm good at math, but I'm not that good. And I can tell you when they clean the chicken houses that are miles from my house. I'm concerned because I've got a 3-year-old daughter. I'm very concerned about it. I'm affected by it. Now, if you've got that many chicken houses, and I know you guys, and I know you'll do the best you can, but you can't beat the physics of a chicken house. Period. You just can't. In effect, I really feel that my house, that I'll bet you if we polled everybody here, we're all upside down on our mortgages, are damn near. That's facts. We're upside down. Our house is worth less than we paid for it. Let alone Carlan Road, which, good Lord, if you've ever driven down in the wintertime, is pathetic. I need a tractor trailer across that baby 2 or 3 times. Water supply in that part of the county is terrible. So you're pulling from wells, or you're pulling from the water source we have, which is antiquated on top of that hill. Less than 200, or less than a mile from your place, probably 3/4 at best. But I'm caught because I like these guys. And I know they'll do the best they can. But I also know mechanics break down. The chicken houses are going to break down. You got to clean them. You got it. So what do I do here, folks? What do I do? I'm worried about my kids, but my friends are sitting there. But I'm worried about my 3-year-old, my 4-year-old. Bright red hair, obviously more susceptible just because of the nature of her, to airborne diseases. You put people in Carlan Road. You put the traffic on Carlan Road. It doesn't exist right now. But the truth of the matter is, you got the money, you can rebuild every chicken house that's been abandoned out there. You got the money, you can do it. So what are we going to do, folks? When's enough enough? I'm here. It was zoned residential when I moved here. I have a farm across the street. I grew up on a farm. I know farms sometimes smell. I don't have a problem with that. That many chicken houses, you're going to have to clean them once a week. You're going to have to bust that chicken house loose at least once a week. Do the math. It's got to be done. Like I say, gentlemen, I wish you luck. I really do. But I've also got to worry more about my kids than an adventure. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Can y'all speak to the current requirements that, I know that over time, the growers and frankly the state, the EPD and EPA, what have you, have instituted more severe requirements on the farm. That's true, right? Can you speak just briefly to that, disposal and those types of things?
Right now, we're planning on disposal, using what's called composting shed. I'd heard some of the people earlier, talking about the incinerators, and I agree with you, they stink. The chicken farm across the road from where I live now on White Pine Crossover incinerates. You know every time they incinerate. That's why we're going with compost. To help do away with that, some of that smell.
And as far as the litter, most of it will be sold, now they're taking it to South Georgia. Most of the clean out companies are. So we'll be looking at having them cleaned, loaded up and carried, out of county to be spread. It's going on farmland, South Georgia.
Now, there will, from time to time, on the pasture land we create, be litter spread on it, the same as the pasture Jan's mama's house there, what's his name, Wigington? Mr. Wigington, he gets litter put on his pipe. Everybody puts chicken litter on the pasture, makes the grass grow.
How often will the houses require to be cleaned out?
The houses will be cleaned every 5 weeks.
5 weeks?
5 to 6 weeks.
You clean the houses out after they catch the chicken.
In between catches.
And the close proximity, our two farms, we'll get chickens in at the same time, and chickens will go out at the same time. So it'll be every 5 weeks, a 2-week window, we're gonna be cleaning them.
Mr. Timothy Jones?
I'm Tim Jones. I live at 722 Carlan Road. One of the problems that we already have out there that should negate this thing is we have a water problem. I had to put an extra pump in, booster pump, just to get enough pressure so I could take a shower in an upstairs bathroom. We only had 30 pounds of street. Now, 500,000 chickens is going to suck up some water. We put a well in because county water can't provide it. That many chickens is going to use up the aquifer. It's going to put the stuff right back into it and destroy everybody's wells out there. There's no way around that. I've seen it happen before. What you pump in, you've got to run off. Now, we moved out here about 4 or 5 years ago, bought a house. And those chicken houses just above us were operational. The smell was so bad, when we first moved in, we didn't notice it. And then the weather got nice, because we moved in the winter. The smell was so bad, the flies were so bad, you couldn't open the window. If you opened the door and left it open 5 minutes, you had a house full of flies. Yeah. I don't know why those people went out of business. EPA should have put them out of business. The wind can blow down that hill, so we were catching the brunt of it. You couldn't sit out on the deck to cook out. The smell was too bad. When you put 500,000 chickens out there, the stench is going to be horrible. You're going to contaminate the groundwater and use up what little water we do have in the aquifer. I don't know a whole lot about chicken farming. I have nothing against it. We used to raise a lot of fryers when I was a kid, but we did a whole lot different than we do today. But, we don't need a chicken farm up the road.
The houses will be run off wells most of the time. County water, we do plan on getting county water run to the chicken houses, and a couple of fire hydrants set. But because of the cost of county water, it kind of negates that, so you use the well water. And I don't know where this gentleman lives, but having to put the booster pump into the line to get the water. I live over on White Pine Crossover, which is 2,000 yards from where I'm talking about building these chicken houses. My neighbor, Kenneth Paget, I had to put in double reducing pressure valves on both of our houses to keep from blowing the water lines loose in the house. I Like I say, he may be on a different section of line, it may feed from a different place, I don't know. We've got horrendous water pressure.
Ms. Anita Jones.
Yes. We live approximately 1,500 feet behind where your chicken houses would be. That's where we live. And I see no reason why, with all the land that's empty in Pickens County, why the hen houses have to be smack dab in the middle of a residential area. Four Star owns a lot of land in Pickens County. In fact, they own the land where the water park may go. If that doesn't go in, it'd be a good place for chicken houses. The appraisals, or the property values of our houses are going down. We recently had our house reappraised, it went down. Put in more hen houses, I'll have it reappraised again. And make sure that we pay less property taxes. And I'm sure our neighbors will do the same. Second of all, Carlan Road is a mess. Anybody tried driving on it lately? Bumpity, bumpity, bump? Ain't gonna get fixed anytime soon. And having lots of feed trucks up and down, feeding 500,000 chickens, I think we're gonna all have to buy four-wheel drives. Maybe the county will buy them for us. Think about that.
Anybody you'd like to comment on? Brad?
County needs to pay Carlan Road, that's a fact, I'll not dispute.
Ms. Tamara Lynch?
Me. I own the property right next to their driveway. My property parallels to where they're going to be coming in and out. Because it's apparently, the property goes a straight line back and then a big area, correct? Of 130, and there's supposed to be 6 chicken houses on this side and 6 chicken houses on that side, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And 1 residential
Brian's
house.
planning on building a residence, yeah.
Correct. All these trucks are going to be coming in and out. I don't live there yet. This is going to be my retirement home, supposedly. I own the property. I've had money invested, paid 12 years of taxes on it. And now, I'm not old enough to retire yet. I'm 60 years old. And now it doesn't look very good because this property is going to be less valued. I don't want to be living there in the country with chicken houses right behind me and beside me and chicken trucks up and down the road, and I don't even know how they're even going to turn out of that driveway onto Carlan Road, as long as those chicken trucks are, without even running into the neighbor's yard across the street from me. You're going to be measured.
It's 120 feet.
And how long is the chicken truck? 120 feet?
No, the entryway is 120 feet wide.
But I'm saying when you have to turn,
There'll be a 60 feet wide entrance going into the truck, gravel.
and it's going to tear it all up, and I just don't approve of it at all because it's not what I wanted to retire to. And I'm concerned also with all this traffic on there. There's families and kids that run up and down the road and play and walk their dogs. You know, it's peaceful. How can it be so peaceful with chicken trucks running up and down the roads and litter trucks? And there's going to be other kind of trucks that you're going to have in and out.
I'd just like to make just a final statement. I won't speak on anybody else's, but, you know, I've lived in Hinton my entire life. My grandparents have lived in Jerusalem. If you go to Jerusalem Church, more of my family's buried up there than not. You know, I'm not looking to come in and exploit y'all's community. I'm looking at building a house on the property and living there with y'all. Jamie already lives there. He lives on White Pine Crossover. I consider myself to be a good neighbor. I don't like thieves. I don't like people who makes a lot of noise. I just want, you know, I'm just trying to better my life, better myself, make a good living, and just do what I can. You know, me personally, I'd like to see 12 chicken houses there than 120 homes of people I don't know and what it could bring into the area. You never know what's going to come in. But at the same time, you know, a lot of people here know me. I don't want to mess with anybody else's property the same way I don't want mine to mess with it. We just want to live and let live. And that's all I can ask for. I mean, that's all I can say. You know, I'm looking at living here the same way everybody else would. So, I mean, it's not like I'm building this and leaving it and letting somebody else run it and I prosper off of it and somebody else has to deal with it. I'm going to be there as well.
Can I respond to that?
We've got a lot of other applicants. I will throw this up that if y'all would like to get together and have one or two more speak on everybody's behalf, and maybe have a little more time for questions and all that, that's fine. If not, I mean, I'm more than happy to sit here and go through the rest of the applicants. So, Ms. Valerie Teal.
Hi, I'm Valerie. I grew up here, graduated Pickens County High School, and when I came back here, the point was to go into the county that I loved and respected and how it was structured, which was residential, some agriculture, but when we came back, we knew where we wanted to be. My concerns, and honestly, I would never want somebody to not be successful, and certainly if that is your dream to have that, then by all means, I want you to have that. The concern is the area, and I think this is what your job as the planning commission is to determine of all of these things, what effect all of this is going to have. I am greatly concerned about the traffic, greatly concerned about the effect of water. I have a 5-year-old. I'm greatly concerned about those things and the overall effect that it has on West Pickens. Y'all, West Pickens is a gem. You don't get this everywhere. I have lived everywhere. My Air Force husband's drugged me everywhere. I promise you, you don't get this. So I think the couple of questions that I have is, I think one of the things that I feel like the commission has to think of is whether or not you're going to choose this particular route, going with 2 owners that are putting in these chicken houses, or if you're going to support the community that supports you. I also wonder who is buying, you know, I guess every chicken farm, I know nothing about chicken farms other than what I've researched this. Who is buying all of these chickens? Is this like a Tyson? Is this a Pilgrim's Pride? Or Pilgrim's Pride, is that what we get? Okay. Again, I feel like what it's not doing is it's not benefiting the area, it's simply hurting it. So I would be greatly saddened to even think that I purchased out here again to come back here and support this community, serve on the chamber, serve on the tourism committee, and have members that serve as commissioners to think that this is where it's all going to go.
Mr. Will Tate.
Good evening, board. Will Tate, my grandfather was Marvin Carlan, the namesake of Carlan Road. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us any power over the board and what ends up on the road. Otherwise, it might have been a pretty simple exercise. I'd like to touch on a couple of points. It's been mentioned a lot, infrastructure. The infrastructure of Carlan Road is pretty poor condition. I think it can be laughably called paved. Here's some pictures of the road immediately in front of the facility. You see it's about paved about 18 feet wide. Average tractor trailers, 8, 10 feet wide. There's no margin there for 2 trucks to pass each other safely. This is not there. The infrastructure is not there to support that level of traffic for 500,000 birds. The contention that there are already existing chicken houses, so let's go ahead and add more. Or the chicken houses that were there, a couple of them aren't working, aren't operational. There's no real, there's nothing to stop those other chicken houses from starting up again. It just takes a buyer. It takes someone to go in and renovate chicken houses. So saying that we're just replacing ones that aren't currently operational doesn't make any sense. We have no control over whether those other chicken houses will become operational. Third, it's been mentioned a lot, water. Chicken houses typically have to require 2 sources of water. They mentioned that they will have city water servicing in case of well. Everyone mentioned how terrible the water pressure is. It's my understanding that the system is already antiquated and not prepared to meet the needs of the community. Imposing any more burdens on that will stifle all growth in the area. Third, it's been the petitioners have mentioned several times that, and referred to this as the poultry industry. Poultry industry. It is an industry. They're not looking to raise a few chickens, have a few cows. They are installing chicken factories. These are 600 feet long buildings, 6 of them on each property. 12 600 feet long buildings. That's like nothing we have here. To impose that sort of burden onto a small community without adequate infrastructure, it's going to kill the community. Absolutely. And they mentioned the backer, Pilgrim's Pride. This is going to be an expensive endeavor. And I can't comment, I don't know for sure how the financing is coming together. But typically these things, the poultry company, poultry supplier will supply financing. These 2 gentlemen are essentially strawmen. The company really owns the property, owns the operation. We're allowing a corporation to come in and establish this and not really have any more responsibility. And finally, I'd like to point your attention to the comprehensive plan that was adopted by the board. Lists one of the #1 concerns, page 59, section 3.4 of issues. Is water supplies and treatment capacity are not adequate to meet long-term growth needs of the cities and county. I don't know if any studies have been done regarding what the water needs will be, but I think before you even consider that, that needs to be done. You need to know how much water they're actually going to use. I don't think they have any idea. Thank you.
Once again, the road's bad. We know that. The road does need repaving wide. As far as the other concerns, when I approached Chick 4 months ago, he was willing to sell me 25 acres on Henderson Mountain Road for basically the same operation.
Yeah, but it had to gone through the same deal here. I've grown chickens. Well, I mean,
Well, I'm sorry, we're not debating back and forth, and, you know, if you want to speak, you'll have a moment to speak at the very end. Mr. John Wynn?
I'm John Went, and I live adjacent to the property. I can see the property from my house, so that's kind of where I reside. Most of the concerns have already been addressed, but you know, I really fear my property values, my children, their health, my neighbors' children and their health. Again, back to infrastructure, you know, these big trucks going up and down the road constantly. You know, that's not what we want. And no one's mentioned yet that the noise that these generate at night, you can hear the operations at night if you're anywhere near the vicinity. So, you know, for all you who live close by, get ready. It's going to get loud at night when we're trying to sleep. You know, that's another thing we need to think about as well. No one's really brought up. Again, my family's property is close by. It's going to affect their values as well. You know, that's just a big concern for us. That's all I have right now.
Jerry Crater, I believe.
Yeah, I have photographs too. This was, I own 9 acres directly behind that property. And it's not developed, but it's, we treat it like we actually call it our own private park. We live in Marietta, Georgia. And I just think it's not appropriate to put this kind of facility in such a beautiful area. There is a beautiful residential area with horse farms and ranches. Just several of my neighbors there are, and I'm supporting all of them. But I'd just like to show you some pictures of the area, if I may. This is what we're looking at directly next door. It's just not appropriate to put a big chicken industrial, in my opinion, facility in that neighborhood. Just like to ask you to take this under advisement and hopefully vote with us. Thank you.
Mr. Brian Johnson.
I know both these boys, know them all my life, they're good boys, and I even looked about doing the grading for them on chicken houses, but I got the property that joins theirs, and I got concerned about it lower my property values. It's going, there ain't no doubt it's gonna go way down. That's, our place, it's gonna be hard to sell if we decide to get rid of it with a chicken farm right there next to it, and runoff, and what comes off that's coming downstream. We got 2 creeks that comes one behind, one beside. It's coming down. Whether you want it or not, it's going to run downhill. And at night, that's what one of my concerns is. You're going to hear beep, beep, beep all night, trucks in and out. And but the property value, that's the main thing I'm concerned about.
Mr. David Hawkins.
I think most everything, that I've got concerns about has been covered as well. My property adjoins Brian's, and I bought property up here in 2001. This is basically where I look to come to retire to. And, obviously there isn't a single person as far as you guys are concerned that own any property remotely close to where this is going in. So, I support what they said earlier. There's plenty of property in Pickens County, plenty of farmland around, and if they want to put it, they can put it elsewhere other than here. Movie industry just awarded a contract to Ball Ground. You could look at other parts of industries. When you're talking back here about somebody working for commerce, there's plenty of business you bring up here outside of the poultry farm. I've got a grandson. I'd like to see him be able to grow old and gray like a lot of people in this room. So, there's health concerns. So, thank you.
Mr. Jason Bice.
Yeah, I'm right here. Everything I didn't want to know, nothing said, so I'm covered.
Mr. Billy Stone.
Pretty much everything has been said except for a few issues. Me and my wife have lived at 1727 Carlan Road for the past 14 years. It's quiet. The only access to this property is directly across from my house. It's like 30 feet from my driveway with the trucks coming in and out. They're going to be, keeping us up all hours of the night. The breeze that blows as it comes from that area, we like to have our windows open. There's nothing really to stop it because it's pasture land. We're not going to be able to get outside and do anything in the summertime. Not to mention all the chicken litter and mud when it rains falling off in front of our driveway. We're going to have to drive in and out of that. We have a dog that stays in the house, and she never barks unless you think somebody's out, pulling in the driveway or stopping in front of our house. So with these trucks, that's going to be a constant issue. And also with the angle of where our house is, when these trucks come out at night, the lights are going to get us, right in the bedroom window. So it's going to be a lot of sleepless nights there. if this continues to go forward. I thank God we live in a country where we have free enterprise, and I would not want to stand in the way of anybody advancing forward. But whenever it affects the community, I don't care where it is, I'm opposed to it, whether it's my state or whatever state. That's the great concern that I have, because we're planning on, our mortgage is kind of like halfway, but we just can't sell and leave. So those are the issues I have. And on a side note, these two gentlemen over here, I've seen them around, I don't know them, but I know a lady that I talked to that has some property that she's willing to sell with a house on it for like, and there's chicken houses all around it. So if they want to talk about that after this, I'd be happy to get with them, because I was sharing it with her, and there's chicken houses all around us up on Highway 53. So I'm not trying to put a promo out for her or change the avenue of this meeting. I was just maybe trying to help them out if this doesn't go their way. Thank you.
Mr. Stone, I really kind of beforehand, I had thought about the issues he's gonna have. I mean, and I don't want to, he's got a legitimate complaint. And that would be something that I've been thinking on how we're gonna, work around that and fix it for him. Right now, the biggest thing coming to mind is the road coming in and out from the houses, cheating it over to one side, get the trucks over, and put the turn before you get to the end of the driveway, so the lights won't be shining up in his house when they come out. Maybe that is some artistic tree planting, maybe we can keep that from happening.
Miss Leslie Zanima?
Zinema.
Zinema?
Yeah, everything's been covered, but thank you.
Miss Carlan, okay, well, that's it. What, faster than two, Yes, Miss Jeff.
I have a petition, we had several people signed, almost 50 signatures on it. Could I present that to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I didn't sign up, but could I say just a few words?
I'll give you about 45 seconds.
I have property, I own property, joining his property, or joining the property if he wants to buy. I'm close, we just come together in the back, so it affects my property on Carlan Road tremendously. And I understand, I was born and raised on Moss Road, and there's a farm there that my parents had that's in bankruptcy. I understand the bank was planning on dividing it up in acres, 5 acres, and trying to sell that property as a subdivision, and I would hate to see all that ruined by the chicken houses. And I do own 75 acres that joins this property. And I guess it's their only entrance. If they enter on Carlan Road, they got that property from me to bring the cutwood out. So I guess that's where my property is, joining theirs and then by their driveway. Thank you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say one thing. I've raised chicken before, so I've been in what they're trying to do. I understand what they're trying to do. I don't like people vilifying chicken. There's no reason in it. It's a good industry. I've been a part of it. I think that the whole problem is the sheer volume and the number. I think that's the problem. Okay? It's nothing against the poultry industry. I've been in it, and I know it. But it's just the sheer volume and the number you want to place over there. That's the problem.
Thank you.
Can I address that?
Yes, go ahead.
The volume, that's because that's the only way the bank will do it. I want it for, Brian wanted it for. That's a whole lot less money for us to borrow. To pay out where the farm will pay for itself, you have to have 6 houses. Clear a profit for my family to live on.
Nothing against them. It's nothing against the poultry. It's just the volume.
Is there any questions from the board?
I would like you to see the pictures that I took of where my driveway is, and his driveway is, and that gentleman's driveway. How it's gonna affect us. This is that driveway right there, right across from my driveway. And this is the driveway that they'll be used. That's approximately 3 feet wide. And maybe she said it's 120 feet long.
Y'all want to see the picture of the driveway?
Yes, my concern or question to the committee is, I live off of Jerusalem Church Road, of course, and I'm in the trucking industry, that's what I do for a living. And even myself, in my little car, going to work several times on Jerusalem Church Road, I've been practically run off the road from, big trucks going to go down that road. That road is actually not even big enough for 2 tractor trailers to pass at the same time. And when you figure, because I know the company that I work for, the litter business is becoming a big industry, the chicken litter business. There's a place out in Alabama, there's a huge place in Gainesville, Georgia. They're all going to come here to pick the litter up. And the litter takes about 80,000 pounds on a tractor trailer. 80,000 pounds going down Carlan, going down Jerusalem. First time one of them runs across the yellow line and hits somebody's child and kills them. And it happens that daily. A lot of chicken trucks, you've actually looked at the industry, a lot of chicken trucks have wrecks daily, because they're hauling such heavy loads out of such small areas.
From the board?
Yes, I'd like to ask him, I think it was Mr. Tate that said that this actually will belong to Pilgrim's Pride and not to you gentlemen, is that correct?
No, ma'am, he's misinformed. It will be ours, and Pilgrim's Pride has really nothing to do with the loan or the farm.
We're an independent grower that signed the contract, so
We were borrowing the money through Live Oak Bank at Gainesville. We talked to a community bank here in Pickens County. They said, no, Live Oak's got a better deal for you. We're not even going to try to touch it. Y'all need to go with them. It is partly subsidized by the federal government because they need chickens. The United States exports a lot of chickens. So they need more chickens to keep the price from being driven up too high here. So the government does partly back the loan.
And the other farms that's there, we've looked at those farms, about buying farms that's already open. But the amount of upgrades that needs done to the farms and the asking price of the farms is just not feasible
So
from
you've
a
already
business.
purchased this property?
Do what?
Have you already purchased this property?
No, ma'am.
It's contingent upon zoning.
Any other questions from the board to the applicants? Mr. Jones?
I have a question for these gentlemen. What?
No, sir, no, we're not asking.
No, this is for the board, this is for the board.
Ask us, not them.
Okay. What research has been done of how they're going to contain their groundwater runoff so they don't contaminate the land and everybody's wells for miles around? How are they going to contain this runoff from 500,000 chickens? This is going to go back down into the aquifer and contaminate it. I've seen this happen in other areas. I don't want it to happen here because we just put a well in.
Bill,
Because we couldn't
you want
get
me to
water.
answer that?
Yes, go ahead, Norman.
What they would be required to do to obtain a construction permit here in Pickens County, they're gonna have to get a engineered drawing and design for their runoff as well as the construction of those buildings. In most cases, companies such as Pilgrim's Pride have standardized construction drawings based on the size of the building. But the soil erosion and sediment control plan will have to be individually adapted to that particular piece of property. And the state of Georgia requires that all water be contained completely within the boundaries of that property. They cannot allow it to flow off onto other properties or into streams.
What about leaching into the ground?
Well, you're gonna have absorption into the ground in any case. Normal rainwater does that.
So from 500,000 chickens into the ground, it's going to, it could contaminate aquifer.
There is no aquifer.
Or,
Well, there is for whales.
so, but it could contaminate it.
Well,
But there's not any water
there,
draining on the
these
chicken
buildings,
house.
and I'm not a chicken expert by any stretch of the imagination, but as I understand it, there is a collection system put in them during construction that will collect all of the water that is contained inside that building.
What about outside the building when they're moving the litter to the storage areas and it rains and washes it into the streams?
they collect?
Well, I assume it would go to the treatment facility.
I'm
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I just wanted to make sure that I understood on that.
Is they gonna truck the water out? I mean, how's that gonna happen?
Is there anything you'd like to add or comment, James?
I think we've pretty well covered it.
Okay,
Just one other point.
please.
The gentleman said that the pressure is so great in the wells in that area. I have to address it. Mr. James Stewart gave 1 acre of land to the county for a well. They drilled a well, it was dry in 6 months. It did not supply any of the water needed for our area. They had to come from the city. But that was a prime example. The water is not available out there. It's not.
Yes, ma'am.
We live over on Stewart Road, which is right behind them. Like I said, this isn't a personal attack on them by no means. We've always been friends with them and know them well. But we have a spring head that's been there on the Stewart farm, and it's never, nobody that's ever lived there, Mr. Stewart and his family has never seen that spring go dry. A few years ago, it went dry on us, and we had to connect to county water. So, I mean, anything's possible whenever it comes to the water system, no matter how much they say that, they have water flow there. And another thing, we only have 3 chicken houses at the end of the road that we live on. And that pipe gets crushed every time chicken trucks go in and out of there. And it causes a water stand. It's dangerous driving across there from Church Road when it rains hard because of the water stand. Our road from there down stays in terrible shape all the time, and the county just can't keep it maintained. Right now, it's down to bare dirt. So whenever you look at Carlan Road and the shape it's already in, and you put that many more trucks, even though there was already chicken trucks on it, this is like a mega complex compared to anything else Pickens County's ever seen. I mean, this is like 24 regular chicken houses, basically, is what this boils down to. You think about that amount of traffic versus the 3 or 4 houses that was on this end of the road and 3 or 4 on this end of the road is adding a lot more traffic than what people realize.
So, just real quick. These are going to be the last 2, okay? Mr. Tate has a hand up first.
There's been several concrete concerns about infrastructure. Traffic studies and plans are easy to do. Should they be required to do one of those because of the great impact? You can do a hydrologic study to see if the groundwater will actually support the farm, and where the city, what the impact of seawater is going to be. These are all measurable, quantifiable things that can be done to see if this is feasible to put there or not.
It kind of boils down to this. The area was rezoned to be residential. They built these homes, they built these communities, these are single-family homes. To turn it back now, to change it back into agriculture is unfair to the current homeowners who invested their time, their money, and their futures into these homes. To take that away from us and destroy everything that we've put into our homes and the future of our homes is unfair. You say you don't want to affect our homes and our livelihood. That's exactly what it will do. We will never be able to sell our homes if we are surrounded by chicken farms. We will go bankrupt. They will be foreclosed. We will be destroyed.
That's all. I think call the hearing to close. Unless there's any other questions or comments from the board.
When will you make this decision, sir?
Sir?
When will the decision be made on this, sir?
It's a good question. What we normally do, how the procedure works here, is we are, now keep in mind, we don't have the final say. We are a recommending body. We hear the comments from the applicants and also the public, whether yay or nay. And then our job is to make sure that the application meets the criteria of the county's ordinances and what have you. We also obviously take input from what the community involved has to say, and all that is taken into consideration. We will vote on it normally tonight unless we have a motion to table it for further review, examination, whatever, to the next meeting. So if we have a move and second to vote on it tonight, we will vote on it tonight. Then it will go before the Board of Commissioners for final vote approval.
So what you're basically saying is the commissioner, the three-panel commission
Yes, sir.
are the ones who actually have the right or wrong.
Yes, sir. They have.
I just don't
And it's-
want you to get blamed for something you didn't do. That's what I'm saying.
And it's
This is a roundabout way.
Really, thank you.
And when is that,
It'll be the next commissioners meeting,
Which is
I
Wednesday.
believe.
Thursday.
This week, Thursday, so this goes
Thursday.
for them Thursday.
So are you gonna vote this evening?
Well, if we get a move and second to vote in favor or deny, then we'll vote tonight. If we get a move and second to table it for further examination, then that's what we'll do, and we'll vote on it whenever it's brought back up for a vote again. So here in the next less than 5 minutes, I'm sure you'll get your answer.
Can you get five? I gotta get the head.
Go right ahead, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
thank you.
All right, so is there any questions or comments from the board? I know that we have one recusal due to conflict of interest on the board here, so all of us will not be voting this evening.
Mr. Chairman, this has always been an agricultural community, and I make a motion that the rezone be approved.
We have a move to approve the rezone request. Is there a second? So we don't have a second, so that's the first, in my, 7 years, 6, 7 years been on the board. And our attorney's not here.
I guess the motion dies.
The motion dies.
May I make another motion?
Yes, you.
May I make a motion that we table this request? I would like to do a little bit further research. But at that point, if it's approved, it's approved. If it's denied, it's denied. So I would like to do a little bit more further research.
Okay. Is there a second to table the vote until the next meeting?
I'll second that.
Have a move and second to table the vote until the next meeting date for further research. All those in favor of tabling the motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Motion is tabled till the next meeting.
When is the next meeting?
It'll be the second Monday in May.
Can we all come back?
Yes, sir. You're more
Is
than
it in this
welcome.
location?
It'll be the same time and place.
Do you want us to bring cookies?
Is it safe to assume that the Board of Commissioners will not hear this on Thursday?
They will not hear it first. Well, the meeting is not adjourned, guys, please, we're not done here. We've got just a couple more minutes. If you want to leave, please do so quietly. We've got a couple more items on the agenda. It won't take just a minute, more than likely. All right, the next item is item 5, board comments. Any comments from the board, please? No comments. The next is public comments. Is there anything else? I believe I saw a hand here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I own the part of the old Stewart farm, and Pickens County did come on and purchase a small tract of land, and they drained my well dry. So, you know, obviously I've worked it out to where I've got that property back, but now I have no well water. And, you know, pardon my French, but basically you can pee harder than what water pressure I have at my farmhouse. Okay? So, you know, I mean, the runoff on the creek provides the water that grows the corn on the back of the property. And what little water pressure that I have on the front side of the property, I mean, you know, like a lot of folks in here say, you guys have got to come up for election again. I don't know if you've already got your minds made up on it or not. Plenty of property in
Let me correct
Pickens.
you, sir. We are not elected, we are appointed.
Appointed, okay, that's fine, that's fine.
Suckers.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. But no, and I mean, I'm not against these guys. I think it's fantastic on entrepreneurship. I just believe there's other areas within Pickens County boundaries that this would be.
Let me rest assured, and I think if I speak out of turn, please y'all correct me, but we're asked to serve or appointed to serve, and we do so because we love Pickens County, the community. And I'd say a lot of us on this board, our roots go way back, I can speak for myself, goes way back before Pickens County was established on both sides of my family. I could sit here and bore you for the next 2 hours on my family's, on both sides of what they've done going back over 100 years ago serving Pickens County. So I do it because I love the county, and my family's always loved the county, and I think it's humbling, so to speak, to be asked to serve my fellow citizens, because I love the Pickens County as much as y'all love y'all's property, and I want what's best for Pickens County, whether that means they put up chicken houses here or somewhere else, or they don't. You know, that's, you know, we're not in this for any financial obligation or dedication either. I mean, it's, you know, we're asked to serve, and good, bad, or indifferent. That's why we're here. So. And there's representatives here from all sections of the county, north, south, east, and west, and middle. So, anyhow, is there any other public comments? I thought I saw another hand go up.
I'll make a comment. I think probably an EPA study needs to be done on this thing because of the water runoff and what it will do, could possibly do. They've got to contain and they've got to treat that water. And all the stuff that runs off up there has got to be contained and treated before it goes back into soil and aquifer.
My resources that I used that talked about the diseases that were found came from the EPA and the CDC.
Any other comments, please?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
At the next meeting, if this goes through as a yes, is there any way that we can appeal this?
The next step, again, like I mentioned earlier a few minutes ago, we are not the final say. What we say, we're a recommending body, okay? What we vote on is a recommendation that goes to the Board of Commissioners, which will be, if we had voted on this tonight, whether to approve it or deny it, it would have gone before the Board of Commissioners this coming Thursday. And then they have the final say. And, you know, whether to vote for it or against it.
Or can you go up there and, would we have the right to go up there and say anything to them?
Absolutely, you know, they have, what time is the 5:30 Thursday afternoon? Right here. The third Thursday of the month, on 5:30, is usually in this room here. So that's every month. So if you, whether it's this rezone request or something else going on in the county, you're more than welcome to go.
But they will not vote on this one on Thursday.
They will not vote on this coming week or this coming month or this week. It'll be May.
May 2nd.
In essence, then you could approve it and they could deny it, or you could deny it and they could
Yes, sir.
approve it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So flood your commissioners.
He was talking about the water being contained. It's not contained on that property. What they do is put in a retention pond. I'm in a grading business. I know all about commercial. I've graded plenty of chicken houses. What that does, that stops that water from just boiling off the property at one time. It goes into a pond. It's got a catch basin there. It releases the water out real slow. So the water's not contained on that property. It does not stay on the property. It leaves the property, but it just goes out slow. That's all that retention pond will do, is he's talking about contained.
Yes, sir.
Just got one question.
Yes, sir.
I've grown up around chicken houses all my life. I live on the corner of Carlan Road and Roper Road. And I've got nothing against Jamie. I know nothing Jamie. What's the lifespan of the chicken house before it needs to be maintained? You got 3 farms within a half a mile of there that's shut down or not operational. So how long is it going to take before this farm is not operational? And it's sitting there and it's the eyesore. The Bagwell farm was foreclosed on. The Smiths down the road have moved or losing their farm also. And if I understood him correctly, the one on White Pine was only 3 houses operational. So I mean, that's 10 chicken houses or 11 chicken houses in the area that's not being used, can't be used. Now they're wanting to put 12 right out the road. How long is it going to be before they're not in use? Can't be used.
Could I answer that question?
Not 12 regular.
Tell you why. Because people like Pilgrim cried, Tyson, my dad was in chicken business for over 30 years. They put him out of business because every time he'd spend $60,000 to remodel these houses, turn around and spend more money. That's the reason why they're out there. So, we're out there. We're going.
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. Is this, or would this be the first mega houses that would be in Pickens County?
I have no idea.
Does everybody know?
These are considered mega houses.
I mean, I don't know if they're the first or the 100th. I have no idea
Because these mega houses are putting our small poultry farmers out of business, as the gentleman has said.
I can't answer that question. I do not know. All right, any other comments from the public?
Please just do what's right for the community. That's all we ask.
Thank you. All right, next item is motion to adjourn. Have a move to adjourn, is there a second? Second. Have a move and second to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment, please raise your hand. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.